So, the final day is underway. They just wrapped up game number 2 of match play here, so just kind of floating around and seeing what the guys were doing before I decided to talk to y'all. But basically, Kris Prather is still striking out his mind. He started with a 279, so he's in the lead after 27 of 42. There's a ton of games left, though. Like, the fact that we're in the last day, but there's 15 games left with, 24 of the absolute best in the world. I mean, he might have, let's see, he's got cut for the show by 134. That can be lost in a game and a half. You got 7 guys below the number that are still reasonably easily within it, within the opportunity to get it. So it's interesting because these guys are, starting today. You can tell that there's a lot of self-reflection that's happening these first couple games, where basically they're not necessarily like overly hot. They're not going too crazy quite yet. It's pretty contained. There's not a ton of people here this morning. What it is they're very, very focused on execution, and when they're missing, they're being hard on themselves because they know that they have to make a ton of good shots today, and there's not a lot of time that they can waste. You can't really have a blow-up game today. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that energy picks up. I think if more people are physically here in the building, it'll make it more interesting. But so far it's been pretty calm, pretty quiet, and I think a lot of people that are spectating know, like, kind of to watch themselves, because it's not loud enough to be like overly excited. If it was really loud in here like it was yesterday, it would be different because they're able to, it just blends in. But now sharp sounds are catching guys, which, that happens. It's bowling. So definitely finding that balance of the environment. But now that they're starting game 3, I think it'll be a little bit easier for these guys. The pace will pick up a little bit. Just have a little bit more pin noise going on the whole time too. So let's see how it goes. Officially halfway through match play. They are through 12 games. Prather's still in the lead, but Shawn Rash just keeps winning. He's got 10-2, so he's got 300 bonus pins. He's only 20-some behind Kris, and there's still 11 guys that are within 100 of the cut line, either way, top or bottom. So Wes Malott is at 969, and the cut is 1036. It drops off pretty substantially after that, with Dick Allen at 842, so over 100 pins, and that gap is getting harder and harder to overcome. I mean, there's still 12 games left. It's not like it's impossible, but it's not like any of these guys are slowing down either. Belmo's carry kind of went to crap that last game. He shot 195. EJ shot 278, but now his carry's crap this game. It's just kind of all over the place. That pair-to-pair stuff of, Bill and Tom were talking about, where it's, it doesn't matter what you do. It's like there's so much of an experiment in trying to figure out so hard how each of these pairs play game to game. So obviously you've got game to game and you got oil transition, but also just topographically there's so much variety. And pretty sure Kyle Sherman just threw it in the ditch. it's just crazy how freaking hard this is, and yet they're still just striking away. It's 3 frames and then strike fest. 3 frames, find out what the pair is doing, and just capitalize. It seems like every time somebody doubles in the first and second frame, they've got like a 25-pin advantage on the match. My predictions are slowly fading. Kyle Troop is in 6th, so he's definitely right there. But Jacob Buttriff is in 17th. He's only 5 and 7, and he just can't keep a look put together. And Thelmo's in 10th, so obviously still got a lot of games left, but let's ride this one out all the way to the end of this block, and then we'll keep going. All right, guys. John just got done with the announcements. Got everybody ready to roll here. They got 5 minutes of practice coming up. The dogfight starts now. This is going to be nuts. There is way more people here now, way more energy in the room already. It's going to heat up real fast, and I'm excited. Let's do it.
I was hoping to move.
put 300 on Rash. I mean, that was not expected, but definitely welcome. Prather and Tommy Jones are essentially shoe-ins. Prather's leading at 15.12. Tommy's at 15.06, and then third is Shawn at 14.41, and then fifth is Maldonado at 14.17. So they're still within 100 of that number, but it falls off pretty fast after Maldonado. Belmo with that 300 popped himself up to sixth at 14.05, and then Simonson and Troop, or Simonson's at 13.60, and then Troop is down at 12.45. So they got some big numbers to make up. EJ's down at 12.11, so that's 200 essentially out of the number going into game number 4 of the last round of match play here. Not to say that's insurmountable. 30 bonus pins a game. You can pop off some silly numbers really fast, but it's getting harder and harder. These guys are striking out of their heads. Oscu's working on 260, 258 right now. There was like 2 or 3 front 8s or front 6s that last game. I can't imagine that these guys that are in the top 10 of this and are really grinding, really fighting, really want to get to the show aren't just at peak performance right now, because that's the only way that they're even going to have a chance. So this is nuts. There's a ton of people here, and it goes from like eerily quiet to really loud to kind of all over the place, but the loud isn't sharp. It's kind of a dull rise of a roar, and they're following the people that they like around. There's a lot of movement. It's just pretty cool, honestly. Like, even just to have the experience of being here as a spectator is neat. The grind is real. The paired grind is real. The lane oil pattern is real. And they're all just here to make this hard for these guys. And they're still executing phenomenally. Interesting, because the last 3 games before the position round here, basically the standings just kind of sealed themselves, and like everybody that was bowling pretty much just started to accept it. There were a few guys that were trying, obviously, but they just would catch a bad break and it would just be like, yep, well, that's just the way my day's going. So Belmo can max out at 190. So he's going to go 192, 166, and maybe 190. So he's just racing out of the show. Shawn Rash I don't know how he's doing what he's doing with that gem that he has, but he's just letting it read, letting it roll, and it's still knocking pins over. Prather is unconscious right now. He just went 245, 279, 280. And then Kyle Troop just got lost to Shawn Maldonado. So they're probably going to bowl each other again, because Shawn and Kyle are currently 5'6", and it doesn't seem like that's going to be changing going into the position round. So sometimes that's the way these things work out, and that's why they bowl so many games. The cream rises to the top, and these guys have phenomenal looks on conditions that are not conducive to scoring. We'll just put it that way. So let's finish this one right. We'll give these guys the credit that they deserve.
The number 2 seed is from England. He's a 3-time U.S. Open champion, a world champion. Number 2 seed, Dom Barrett. He's a 4-time champion on the PBA Tour, and he won this event in 2020. Give it up for Kris Prather. That's the lineup for Sunday's telecast. Hope you all enjoyed the competition. Thanks again to the Bolero staff here in Fairlawn. They've done a great job. We sure appreciate their hospitality. All of the PBA sponsors, our title sponsor of this event, Kia.
What's your mindset like? That's pretty crazy.
It just feels good. I mean, it's been since 2016 since I made a major show. The U.S. Open was the last time I made a major show. So coming in, the TOC, I did an interview earlier last week, and I just said, man, I just want to win me a major title.
Yeah.
So to make the show, I'm kind of hoping I done talk that into existence. So we'll see where it goes. Scores were high if you kind of just. If the ball reps were helping out, they were seeing the lanes. As the days went by, they were kind of getting an idea of how each area of the bowling center was playing. So, fortunately enough, they were able to help me out. I trusted them, made good shots, and scores were up and down. But if I could get my low games to 2-0, it was fine. But I did have one 150 game, which. It's going to happen. I had to let that one go. My spare game overall was pretty good. I've been struggling in my spares, but this week was pretty good.
Now you've been on TV before, you bowled in majors before, but it's the TOC. It's at Riviera. It's on 27 and 28, right?
Man,
what's your mindset going into this one?
I just want to bowl good, make well executed shots, give my ball a chance, get into the pocket. And, if they fall, that's great. If not, this is a tough top 5. So, to win would be awesome, but to win against this field would be even icing on the cake.
Absolutely. Well, great bowling this week, and best of luck in the show, man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I had 3 keys for pretty much the whole match play. One was physical. I guess technically 2 was physical. And then the third was mental. First one was just focusing on not leaning with my shoulder as I'm pushing the ball away. And the second one is tempo, just making sure I'm throwing it slow enough. And the third one is just focusing on my target. Like, I didn't realize until, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, maybe a month, that when I'm bowling, I look at a target, but as I'm releasing it, I'm looking away from my target. I'm looking down lane. So I'm inconsistently hitting what I'm looking at, right?
Yeah.
So these last couple of days, it's just been about making sure I'm actually focusing on what I'm looking at. Yeah, my hand is feeling it now, especially my fingers.
Yeah,
they're a little sore. But towards the end there, because everyone wants to throw urethane, right? And granted, they're throwing it more up the lane, so it actually helps a little bit. But because I don't throw with 2 hands, I don't have the monster rev rate. I have to try a little harder to get it to hook. So throwing as hard as I can and just hitting it, making sure I catch it at the bottom, where was really what I was focusing on, because if I missed it at all, it wasn't going to strike. I missed the head pin 4 times the first 3 games of match play. So it was just super frustrating, and I was just like, okay, you got to buckle down and make sure this is what you're focusing on, and you're repeating it. How I'm going to play the lanes is going to be dictated by the other guys, whereas I had a little bit of say the first go-around last time we bowled here, only because I was in the first match. Now it's, if the guys throw urethane, I'm not going to be able to do the slow hook from as far left. I'm still going to be throwing it slow, just, it might be from 18, not 25.
As a spectator, it really seemed like practice patience work.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So great bowling, man, honestly, and best of luck to you in the show.
Thank you so much.